Greetings. R. Frederick Riddle here with another Becoming a Published Author is Fun. Episode 25 5. And if you don't understand why it's called fun, then check out episode 8. So today we're going to be looking at expectations for the new year, for 2025. And so we're going to look at this right here. We're going to take and go down here in this list here, and we're going to look at the short plan. Now, basically, you're going to use this plan over and over again, as you can see down here, but there's some explanation that goes with that. But the short plan, we're going to look at structural here at the beginning, and it's any weakness, you look for that, and then how are you going to do it, fix it, or adjust. So let me start out by saying that, for instance, in my case, last year, I was doing primarily do-it-yourself. I'm a do-it-yourself type of guy, I guess. Um, and so I'm not satisfied with all the things that I'm doing on marketing. One of the things is that it takes up so much of my time. And so one of the things that I want to do is also, when teaching and coaching somebody, I want them to be able to spend more of their time writing than in marketing. And so there are different tools out there. I provide tools. For instance, there's different tools that I provide, and uh, I call it my tool chest, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. So, but the thing I want you to see right now is when I was looking at it and checking out uh, my desire to save more time is really what it came down to. And also I want to be able to reach more people than what I was reaching. So that's something that will probably always be going on every year, every cycle, whether it's short, medium, or annual. I want to always be able to reach a maximum number, and there's always tools out there that are going to be offered to help. And I take my time when I look at them because I want to make sure that this is somebody that I can um, that I can trust. One of the first things that I came lined up with was a thing called Publisher Rocket, and this is by Kindlepreneur, and that came out there. Guy's name is Dave, and he has had this for a number of years. I've been aware of it for a number of years, but I was always kind of leery about doing that. Uh, but one of the things that really triggered me, two things really triggered me. One, I was dissatisfied with the consumption of time. That when you do it yourself, it was taking too much time for me personally. And I thought, well, if it's taking too much time for me, it's also taking too much time for the students, for any publisher, to do it yourself, do everything yourself. Well, one of the advantages of being an independent, you can either do it yourself or you can hire somebody, or in this case, purchase. And the reason I got Publisher Rocket was that you pay one price at the very beginning, and that's it. You have it for, as I understand it, you have it for a lifetime. And I've been using it. I've been exploring it, trying to learn more and more how I can incorporate that into my own personal time, my own personal efforts, and so forth. I'm going back and actually using on older books, and so the only time will tell how that's going to work out. But I'm really pleased with it, and that's one of the things that I will probably be talking about in the course itself, a little bit more detail than I am doing here. But that is one of the things. When you look at your weaknesses, you want to do the fix, and that's the fix in this case are the tools. But there's that I included up here because that is uh, to me, now I have to having watched them for years, and it's still around and still being highly touted by people. It appeared to me that that's going to be worth the price. I'm going to go ahead and get it. If it doesn't work out, I'm only out the price, and I can move on. But I've been pleased with it so far, and it really has opened up the different categories and genres for me that I wasn't quite reaching before. And I expect that to be expanded as time goes on and I get more and more familiar with the program. But that's just one of the things is that. Now the other thing is I mentioned was the tool chest. When I'm in my course, I provide tools. Now I don't do that here, but that's a thing that goes with the course. They get tools on every lesson, and then at the end of the course, they will get access, uh, lifetime access to the tool chest, which will include all the tools that are used in the course, plus other tools that I will add, and also any updates to those existing tools. So you want to, first of all, look at your weaknesses. Where were you weak? Maybe weakness is the wrong word. Maybe it's just soft. You're pleased with it, but you think it could be better. Look at it and then fix or adjust. I think you're going to find out that as you go forward, if you've got a good plan to begin with, you're going to be doing a lot more adjusting than you are fixing. It's just a tweak here and a tweak there. But it's fix or adjust. So then we move on to the next thing here. And basically, this is budgeting time. Um, Budgeting was not a natural thing for me. Uh, I was never called a fly-by-pants type of guy, but in some ways that has been the way I've done things in the past. But the more I've gotten involved in the publishing and marketing industry, the more I realized the value of budgeting time. I have a life to live. I have things to do. Um, I have hobbies. I have church. And I'm very involved in my church. So that is, I want to have time for that. You may have hobbies. You may be involved in a church. You may be involved in a lot of different things that you are important to you. Your career is important to you, but you have some other things that are important as well. And so you got to make choices. And those choices are not lifetime choices. I want to make that clear. You have to set priorities. But those priorities might change over the year. Now, my number one priority is my church. Number two comes the business. Then number three comes me personally. And actually, I might even drop further, but excuse me. But anyhow, we need to budget time. And to be able to handle all those hats you're wearing, you need to be able to control your time usage. I found, for instance, in my case, I love sports, especially watching football. I love to watch football. And I'm from Michigan, so I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I also live in Florida. I'm a Buccaneers fan, a Miami Dolphins fan, and a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. And so I have all these things that I want to watch and keep up with. They take time. Now, I can say, well, I don't have time for that. I can cut it out. Well, that's a decision someday I may have to make. It's not one I have to make right now. There are other things that are, though, that are definitely something that can be either reduced or eliminated. And so you want to look at your priorities and be flexible to the point that later on you can go back, you can reverse them, you can alter them in any way you want to. It's a continuing process, not a one-time thing. And then the next thing is your goals. You have a goal you should start out with a goal for the end of the year. And then work back from that. What's your mid-year? And I have that here, medium. I call it medium, but it's actually mid-year. And then annual. So this, you could even use this instead of medium or mid. You could use 6 months and 12 months if you want. Or if you want to go beyond that, you could go 5 years, 3 years, and 1 year. But I'm just breaking the year down here. There's different ways you can do it. So that's what you're going to do for your short plan. Now we move to the medium, or I'm going to change. Put also. Let's put this word over here because I think that more you'll actually be uh, mid, because that is what, uh, generally speaking, you think of as a mid-year. So, but what the key word here I want you to see is to repeat. You're going to repeat all this, but a little bit differently. Here you're starting out the year, so you're basing everything on what you did last year. Here you're going to also be basing it on previous. You're going to be on what you did for the first 6 months. And so you're going to go here and you're going to look at your structure again. Do you have any weaknesses? Have you fixed the things that you did back here? Did they work? If they didn't work, do you need to try something else? Or maybe you just need to tweak how you're using it. So that is one of the things. And so you want to continue to look at your weaknesses, the strengths also. Look at your strengths, because you might see something that's strong and maybe I can make that a little bit stronger. And so you want to look at both your weakness and your strengths. Fix or adjust. That's still the same. You fix it if it's a problem, or you adjust. And unlikely that you're just going to continue on the way you are. You probably have to make some adjustments, some tweaks in it, just to improve the performance. So that's for there. That's for the midterm or medium. And then we go to budgeting time again. Again, you have your priorities. Well, those priorities. Look at those priorities. Did the priorities you have work, or do you need to reverse them? Maybe add something in there, or maybe you have a new priority that fits in there. You should probably have a priority, maybe a top 3, top 5, maybe even top 10, but I think you're getting a little long when you do that. I would prefer myself probably to stay between 3 and 5, no more than 5 high priority items. And but you might want to adjust them. You might move number 4 up to number 2, and number 2 might fall down to number 4, something like that, or any kind of other combination. You do that based on your study of what you did the first 6 months. So budgeting time is an important aspect of your business, because you want to maximize your time and maximize your marketing. Now I'm talking primarily marketing here, but you can use the same idea for your writing, for your publishing. Now see, in my case, I'm an author, so I'm writing books. I got 3 different books right now I'm working on. At the same time, I got clients from the business. At the same time, I have other activities like my church and other things that I am involved in. So I have to have priorities, and I might have to adjust here and there. Even if it just might stay in the same order, but the time frame might change. So, and then you have your goals that the first time when you did goals, your goals were for the next 6 months. Well, now your goals are for the last 6 months. So you move down to here, annual. Again, you're going to use the same idea here. You're going to go back up here and you're going to say, okay, what are my expectations? Okay, what do I still have any weaknesses? Do I have an area I can improve? Are there some things that are failures, and I'm going to drop them off going into the new year. Maybe you come across, like in my case, I finally decided to publish a rocket, and so I bought that. I believe it was at the beginning of this year, and that is already impacting my everything else. So you make decisions. When you get at this point, you have a whole year to look at. And so now this is your goal here. And when you reach that point, did you reach your goals? What about your priorities? How's your structure? You're going to review, as I had you do before, your whole structure, your sales, the time you use, for sales or marketing, the time you use for writing, the time you use for any aspect of the business. And for that matter, you want to also look at the time you use for non-business activities. Again, for instance, I want to emphasize exercise more in my life. I got to make time for that. So I got to find, hopefully, I won't take it away from the business. There's other areas I plan on taking it away from. So, but again, you have a, not just for your business, I would include your other life things to some extent. Why? Because your business isn't your whole life. You have, if you go to church, that's an important part, a spiritual part. And you're not going to succeed in this business at all to the extent you want to as a Christian unless you're doing it God's way. And so you have to keep your relationship with Him strong. You got to pray, talk to Him, get guidance from Him. Tend to get one of these guys, I take off sometimes. I get an idea and I take off. The other aspect that I do is I stick at it until I get it done. Well, the first one is a problem. And sometimes God has to reach out and pull me back because I wanted to get going, get going and get with it or get it done. But God says, no, wait, listen to me, follow me, I've got a plan for you, and your plan should be in submission to His plan. And that's, this is not I'm not a preacher here at all, but I do want you to understand that your expectations, I don't have it on the list here, but there's an assumption, namely that you are submitting and seeking God's guidance every step of the way. So you look at your structure, you look at it, is there any weakness or strengths, you fix or adjust, budget your time, maybe you have to reorder or take a closer look at your priorities, and then reestablish some new goals. When you reach a goal, for instance, back here, excuse me, I'm going to have to wet my whistle. There, that's better. So you're going to have to, when your goals here in a short plan, you probably revise them a little bit, or should have, for the next 6 months. And now you're going to be here looking back over it, and you're going to be looking at your goals for the new year. So it's a continuous process that you need to be into. And so that is what I'm talking to you today about. I just want you to be aware that you might come up with some new things to add. This is just a very basic plan. I simplified it. You could break every one of these, could be a whole lesson in themselves. But this gives you something that you can work with. And because every one of us are different. And what here, like for instance, again, I'll go with Publisher Rocket. That works for me. You might not like it. Or you might decide, well, you're going to put that off. That's what I did. I put it off for a long time. But I decided, well, you know what? This might be able to take me to the next step, the next level. And so that's what I'm looking at. So each one of us is different. Each one of us has a different need, and so we are going to have different goals. When you get to this area here, midpoint, you go and redo your goals again. And when you get to this point, you redo your goals again. And then the next year, you start all over and keep doing it. And I think if you do that, you're going to find that it's going to be a blessing to you. Now, let's set this aside. So now what I want to do is I just want to encourage you to do something. I want you to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed to me, subscribe. I give this information out to you on a weekly basis, actually twice a week. And I give you coaching tips. I give you, I'll be giving you, if publishing, marketing, we'll be touching on them at different times. as these are things in which might help you. You get to choose. I'm not forcing anything on anybody, but I do want you to know what's available. And so one of the things that I do is provide you free information. Now, I will say that my course, Basic Authors Training, I go much deeper. And in working with you, there's lessons that I teach, but then I'm coaching you one-on-one as well. And it starts out at actually, let's see how I want to do this. Let's see, let's do it this way. And so I start out here, and I'm going to be, this is up here. This is the coaching, this is the teaching. And as I go this way, they come together until they merge. And that takes over the whole course, the time of the course, which, by the way, is self-paced. So you take it as at the pace you want to do. And so that is one of the things that I do. I want you to be able to have some tools that can help you now. But if you find that you need some help, you need to learn some more, then I offer Basic Authors Training. The other thing I offer is ministry publishing. And ministry publishing, there's less coaching, really not much teaching at all, because you already know. You know how to write. And you have a manuscript that is either ready to be published or will be ready soon. And that's take you from that, and I publish you. I work with you. You are the boss. Now there's another third one called Fast Track. That's basically ministry publishing on steroids, and it's done in 90 days. I don't want to make it any faster than that, but in 90 days. So if you find my advice and tips helpful, why not subscribe below? By doing so, you not only get this podcast delivered to you, and this one again is Becoming a Published Author is Fun, but I have another podcast called Christian News and Views, where I deliver the news with a Christian perspective. Plus, you encourage me to continue delivering valuable content you can use now. And I mean that, now. It's stuff that I am using. It's stuff, the coaching tips, the business tips, whatever kind of tips I'm giving you, these are coming out of my own experience. Not only my knowledge, but my experience. And so I'm here to help you and to help you do your stuff now. If you want to do it yourself. The information I give you should be very valuable to you. It's possible there's some of it that doesn't fit your particular situation, because I don't know your particular situation. But there's enough there that you're going to find value. And hopefully you'll find value week after week after week. So that's it for today's episode, and I will see you in the next episode.